Right here, down. Protect them out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It's your boy, Mr. Owens, and after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes. Family, again, welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. Today, I will be covering the Eagles midweek report. So I'm covering Tuesday, September 30th and Wednesday, October 1st. And look, we got some fire updates for y'all. We got roster moves, practice squad news, injuries we got to talk about. And oh yeah, we got two young studs in the secondary that go by the name of Quintanamo Bay and Cool. Look, we already know they been balling to start this NFL 2025 season. But look, make sure y'all grab y'all soft pretzels and y'all water ice because this joint is about to be a wild ride. But before we get into all that goodness, let's continue to do our part as a community. Please continue to like the videos. It helps with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. Make sure to turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood. Wow. Wow. So you don't miss when me and Big Huss drop this pressure on y'all. So let's get into the headlines, roster moves, and we got to do some news regarding the injury buzz. So let's talk about the big shakeups because look, the Birds have been busy. First off, Charlie Hewlett, our long snapper, got hit with the IR. This is tough because special teams, it isn't sexy, but it is a part of the 3 phases of the game. And so far in these past few weeks, it has been the heartbeat of the Philadelphia Eagles. No clean snaps, no clean kicks. We can't afford that. So what did the Eagles do? We went and signed veteran Cal Adamatis, 49 games of NFL experience. That is major. He's a real pro. So that tells you the front office, Howie Roseman and company, ain't playing around. And speaking of not playing around, look, the injury bug, it's starting to get disrespectful for real. We're going to have to nip that in the bud because the injuries are coming. Ogbo Okoronkwo, look, he's headed to the IR with the triceps injury. We know Nolan Smith already been chilling on the IR. That's not 1, but 2 rushers down, family. But look, we always have to find the silver lining in any situation, right? So now this gives the opportunity for the young bulls and the young guys to step up, i.e. Jalix Hunt, our vet, this is Darius Smith, Patrick Johnson, Azeez Ojulari, who's been a healthy scratch this whole season, Josh Uche. It's just simple. It's the next man up. So who sat out and who did not participate? We got to talk about Dallas Goedert with his lingering knee issue. Dallas did not participate in practice on Wednesday. This is already concerning given the fact that he's already had knee issues earlier this season. We'll hope for a speedy recovery and hope that it is nothing major going on with Dallas Goedert. So now let's move to limited participants. Here are some Eagles who were limited in practice on Wednesday. Lane Johnson paved the Lane Johnson. His shoulder injury, he returned to the field. Great, great news, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. But of course, it was in a limited capacity. Jalen Carter, bread man, his shoulder, he also practiced, but was in a limited role. Adoree Jackson with his groin, he was limited in practice, and his status is in play for uh Sunday's game versus the Denver Broncos. And finally, I had to save the best for last. Nakobe Dean, his knee, he was limited in his return to practice after opening up his practice window. We'll get to that more in a second. So, circling your block like Mr. Softy, here is the news that has Eagles Nation buzzing. The Eagles officially opened Nakobe Dean's 21-day practice window. So that means from October 1st, the team has 21 days, essentially 3 weeks, to activate him to the 53-man roster or shut him down for the remainder of the season. Nakobe is returning from a torn patellar tendon suffered during last season's wild card round against the Green Bay Packers. He's been on the PUP list all year, meaning physically unable to perform. But the silver lining is he did get limited participation in practice. That is the first step. As for his role, that's the uncertainty. The team already has Billboard Bond and Jahad Campbell playing well at off-ball linebacker. Dean might have to start as a depth piece or rotate in gradually. And head coach Nick Sirianni and his staff have been non-committal. They essentially said, we'll see where he is kind of vibe. If all does go well, and we're crossing our fingers and hoping it does, Nakobe could be activated as soon as this coming Sunday versus the Denver Broncos. So in short, Dean's return is official in that window, is open, but there's still a lot to monitor in that situation. One, his health. Two, how much he's eased in gradually. And three, whether they'll activate him this week or want to wait. But with all of this, what does this mean? So let's go back to the injury report. The fact that Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter were able to practice in a limited capacity is a win for us. Their health is critical to both the line and interior strength. Dallas Goedert sitting out is definitely a red flag. The tight end that will be tested if he can't go. Nakobe returning gives the Eagles options at linebacker depth. If he progresses fast, he could ease some of the load that is on Billboard Bond and Jahad. That 21-day window adds some sense of urgency. This is not just, can he play again? The Eagles must make a decision within this 3-week time frame. And finally, with edge injuries to Okoronkwo and long snapper Charlie Hewlett, the health margin on this roster is getting thin and very, very minimal. But look, practice squad got a little spicy too. And I ain't talking about cayenne pepper, all right? KJ Henry, yeah, that KJ Henry, who was on our team in the offseason and through training camp and then went and signed with the Cleveland Browns on their practice squad and actually played against us in the preseason. He's back in the mix. And look, he's back in the mix like Betty Crocker, all right? Jacob Sykes, he's re-signed. Eli Ricks. But look, check this out. APR Antoine Powell Ryland came in one day and he was gone the next. Like, it's crazy because APR didn't even get his chance to get his jersey washed yet. But look, that's what the NFL is. That's what the league is. Always moving and always in business mode. But now we got to address this Arthur Juan K situation, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Look, my guy had 2 catches for 7 yards last game. We got to remember, he had less yards than targets. And look, After that football game, he hit Twitter with a cryptic post. He gave some crazy vibes really quickly, but Coach Nick Sirianni came out strong. This ain't a get me out of here type plea. This is a competitor thing with Arthur Juan K. Look, let's keep it simple. AJ, he just wants to eat. He wants to contribute and be a part of this team. We already know what he means to this organization, what he means to his team, his teammates, and the city. With a top 5 receiver on our team, you know that he wants to be involved in any way possible and be a difference maker in the game. I don't want to bring up and rehash old things, but when you're a diehard Eagles fans, you had to go through the saga of Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens.
3 loss, the Eagles' first of the season. Cameras caught Owens on the sideline talking at McNabb, who didn't seem to listen. After the game, McNabb let everyone know Owens was
and them bickering on the sideline and coaches and things like that, having to step in and get in the middle between them two. But that's one thing that I can say that I respect about Arthur Juan K. He's not getting into QB1's face. He's not yelling at Nick Sirianni. He's not yelling at Kevin Patullo. He just had to deal with his frustrations in a different way. And that's what he came to, was that tweet. And at the end of the day, look, we can't blame him. He's saying what all of us have been already thinking about. The passing game is stale. The concepts, the schemes, everything is just stale. We need Kevin Patullo to revitalize and rejuvenate this passing game and get this offense started. Look, keep that fire, Arthur Juan K. Please keep that fire. Feed that man, y'all. He's just asking to be involved in the game plan more and things like that. So let's get our best receiver involved in this game plan and get this passing game up to par. So now I wanted to spotlight 2 individuals here, and that's Quinyon Quintanamo Bay and Cooper DeJohn. So family, let's shine the spotlight on these 2 young dogs that have been holding it down in the secondary. First off, let's rewind. Last year, these dudes were rookies, right? I had to ask myself that again. But Mitchell came in as the round 1 pick. He locked down the outside receivers, made some noise in the playoffs. But Coop, look, he made his name with that Super Bowl pick 6 off of Patty Mahomes on his birthday.
Rolling out, looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean, gets a block. DeJean is in, touchdown.
Now, if that's not legendary, I don't know what is. But let's fast forward to present day here in 2025. They ain't no rookies no more. They're certified problems in the NFL. Quinyon is out here getting respect from opposing offenses. Quarterbacks are straight up looking the other direction and not even looking Quintanamo Bay's way. ESPN already has him ranked in the top 10 cornerback talk. His coverage is sticky. Look, Quinyon coverage is sticky like a cheesesteak wrapper on Broad Street. You see what I'm saying? But Coop, man, his versatility stands out. Slot corner, he shuts everything down. The nickel corner, he shuts everything down. Outside, yeah, he could do that too. But in safety reps, he's been sprinkled in there by Vic Fangio. And listen, not only is he locking dudes up, but he's also on every breakout list that you can possibly think of. Coop is the type of guy who could have an interception one week and then a sack the next week and then turn around and take a punt to the crib for real. But he's a straight up Swiss Army knife. The thing is, though, the Eagles secondary went from being a question mark 2 years ago to now looking like the strength of this team on defense. Quinyon and Coop are young, hungry, and already performing at a veteran level. This type of culture shift is what will define Philly here in the future. Another thing what I wanted to talk about Quinyon as well, though, is we saw what he did in the Buccaneers game. We saw what he did in the Rams game, in the Chiefs game, and in the Cowboys game. Through 4 games, Quinyon has been shut down, 23-1, not giving anybody no time of day to catch footballs on his side. And when he was going against Emeka Egbuka against the Bucks, you can just see that Quinyon is ascending into that star role, and being one of the best cornerbacks here in the league already in his 2nd season. And
we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
It's just amazing that Howie not only hit on one corner, but he hit on 2 corners. And it's kind of funny when you hear other organizations and fan bases talk about Quinyon and Coop. Like, how did Philly not only get 1 corner, but they got 2 corners? That's the job of a GM. That's the job of the scouting department. Finding the talent that will mesh with your organization is key. And that's why we sustain success here with the Philadelphia Eagles, bringing in people who want to grow, who want to learn, who are team players, who want to strive to be the best. That is what it is to be a Philadelphia Eagle. And this is what these players embody playing here in Philadelphia. So, family, look, what's next? So, 3 things I need y'all to keep your eyes and ears peeled to. All right. 1, that edge depth. We gotta keep our eyes on that. With Ogbo and Nolan Smith out again, these young fellas have to step up. Watch out for Jalix Hunt to turn it up a little bit. He probably will sneak up on folks. We know what he offered last year. He hasn't been off to the start that he would like this season, but don't put it past Jalix to come out and fire on all cylinders and to help this defensive line group eat. All right. So now 2, the offense. I know, and you all know, we're 4-0, one of the last 2 undefeated teams here in the NFL. But I got to keep it a beam with y'all. We're 30th in total offense, and somehow, some way, I guess where there's a will, there's a way. We're 7th in scoring. I'm gonna give it a little thing. I'm gonna give a little scenario. That's like driving to your favorite local Wawa on E, but still being able to make it. We know at some point it's going to catch up to you. You see what I'm saying? That's not a good idea. So we got to see this offense start to cook. We got to see Kevin Patullo start to open up this passing game and get this ground game going as well, because with our offense being stuck in neutral sometimes, it's hard to win all 3 phases of the game. But with the leaders on that side of the ball, the players that we have on that side of the ball, I have no doubt in my mind that we will get that turned around, and we'll be watching our team putting up 40 and 50 points on opponents. Mark my words. All right. But now we're on to the 3rd thing. All right. The corners. Quinyon, Quintanamo, Bay, Mitchell, and Cooper Coop DeJohn are already playing at a high level, but these next few weeks are their proving ground. They're going to face some physical receivers, some deep ball threats, and some smart quarterbacks here. But this is where they turn solid starts into star level. My bold prediction is that Cooper DeJohn gets a pick in the next 2 weeks, and Quinyon Quintanamo Bay starts to get legit Pro Bowl buzz by mid-season. Book it, all right? So now, TMTP family, that is the Eagles update for Tuesday, September 30th and Wednesday, October 1st. We covered injuries, roster moves, practice squad shakeups, but most importantly, Quinyon Quintanamo Bay Mitchell and Cooper Coop DeJohn are setting the tone for the future of this defense. Now, family, it's y'all turn. Jump in the comment sections right down there, all right? Who y'all riding with more? Quinyon or Coop? And who do you think steps up in the pass rush rotation with all of these injuries that we have surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles? But look, again, to our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all already know it's all love. Without y'all, none of this will be possible without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part as a community and a family. Continue to please like the videos. It helps with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. Make sure to turn on the notification bells, also known as that Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates. All right, look, TMTP family, that is all for today's video. I hope that it served a great purpose for y'all, and I hope that you all have been having a great week. And look, we're going to finish it off strong and get ready for these Denver Broncos. Please be on the lookout for Big Husk end of the week recap coming out tomorrow, and then also we'll have our preview for the Denver Broncos coming out on Saturday. So keep y'all ears and eyes peeled to the streets. All right, but look, again, if you don't know who I am, I'll gladly remind you. I go by Mr. Owns, and this is the Main Thing Podcast Presents, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Y'all already know it's Go Birds, Fly Eagles Fly. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your relatives, whoever. Come check out the Main Thing Podcast Presents. They won't be disappointed. But y'all know it's all love. I'm Mr. Owns, and I'm out.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.